Welcome all of you in online teaching learning process. In last video we have seen syllabus involved in paper number 9. Name of the paper is Inorganic Chemistry, and in this video we will start unit number 2, metal ligand bonding in transition metal complexes. So the content of unit 2, that is metal ligand bonding in transition metal complexes, is point number 2.1 crystal field theory, then details about the CFT, and point number 2.2 molecular orbital theory, that is MOT. In this video we will see point number 2.1.1 introduction of the CFT, shapes of d orbitals and basic assumptions of CFT. First we will see the introduction of this unit. In last year, that is BSc second year, we have seen coordination chemistry unit. In this coordination chemistry we have learned, that is Werner's coordination theory, then about the definitions about ligands, coordination number, along with that IUPAC nomenclatures, then geometrical and optical isomerism in case of coordination number 4 and coordination number 6. In this unit we will see details about the crystal field theory and molecular orbital theory. First we will see the definition of coordination chemistry. Coordination chemistry is the branch of inorganic chemistry which deals with chemistry of coordination compounds. Simply, coordination chemistry means bonding between metal and ligand. So in the case of coordination compounds, coordination compound typically consists of a complex ion and a counter ion. A complex ion contains a central metal cation bonded to one or more molecules or ions. The molecules or ions that surrounding the metal in a complex ion are called ligands. So in this diagram, cobalt is the central metal ion and the surrounding molecules or ions, that is ammonia and Cl, are act as ligand. So simply there is a metal ligand bonding takes place in case of coordination compounds. A ligand has at least one unshared pair of valence electrons. In last year we have seen there are different type of ligands available: bidentate, monodentate, tridentate, and also hexadentate ligands available. There are some examples, that is water having 2 lone pairs, ammonia having 1 lone pair, Cl minus, Br minus, I minus, which are having 4 lone pairs with negative charge, and carbon monoxide which possesses 2 lone pairs. All these are monodentate ligands. Then there are different theories behind the metal complexes, that is theories of bonding in transition metal complexes. Theories of bonding were proposed and used to explain the observed properties of transition metal complexes such as color, magnetism, shape of complexes. That is, these theories explains color of the complex, magnetism of the complex, and shape of complexes. In BSc first year we have seen valence bond theory. What is the valence bond theory? That is valence bond theory which explains hybridization present in the compounds, and this theory discovered by the scientist Linus Pauling, and who received the Nobel Prize in the year of 1954 and also in the year of 1962. Then valence bond theory which explains hybridization concept, and in the case of VBT, the bonding present is purely covalent type. So this is the VBT concept which we have studied in BSc first year. Then in this year or in this unit we will see crystal field theory. Then crystal field theory discovered by the scientist Hans Bethe, who also received the Nobel Prize in 1967. And crystal field theory, that is the advanced technology of valence bond theory. That is, valence bond theory possesses some drawbacks. So Hans Bethe discovered new technique, that is crystal field theory, because valence bond theory shows failure to interpret spectral, thermodynamic and kinetic properties of complexes. So VBT was replaced by crystal field theory, that is CFT, and crystal field theory shows bonding present between metal and ligand is purely ionic type. In valence bond theory, bonding is purely covalent. In crystal field theory, bonding is purely ionic. And last theory is a molecular orbital theory, which was discovered by scientists Mulliken and Hund. And this is the third theory after the crystal field theory, because crystal field theory has some drawbacks, like crystal field theory does not explain Nepel-Oxidtic effect, and crystal field theory only highlight the orbitals of metal but does not consider the orbitals of ligand. But molecular orbital theory overcome all the orbitals, and bonding present between MOT is both covalent and ionic. So these are three theories available in metal complexes, and fourth one is a ligand field theory, but that theory is not involved in university syllabus. That theory may be possessed in MSc syllabus. Then our first point is the shapes of s, p and d orbitals. We know that s orbitals are spherically symmetrically in nature. Then p orbitals, there are 3 p orbitals, it is px, py, pz, and p orbital, this shape is a dumbbell shaped. These are dumbbell shaped. D orbital, then how many d orbitals available? That is 5 d orbitals, that is dxy, dyz, dxz, dx square minus y square and dz square, and the shape of the d orbitals are double dumbbell shaped as shown in the diagram. Then shapes of 5 d orbitals corresponds to azimuthal quantum number, that is L is equal to 2, is shown below, that is dxz, dyz, dxy, and their lobes are lies in between axes. These are the 3 sets are called T2G set, and next one is a EG set, that is doubly degenerate orbitals, dx square minus y square and dz square. All these two are EG orbitals, and here plus and minus signs which represents wave functions. Then we will see shapes of d orbitals. In complex formation, d orbitals play an important role. In case of d orbital, there are 5 d lobes available. Then first 3 lobes are having same energy, so these are called as T2G lobes, and next 2 lobes are having same energy are called as EG lobes. T2G means triply degenerate and EG means doubly degenerate. In case of crystal field splitting of octahedral complex, there are T2G are having lower energy and EG are having higher energy, which will be explained in next video in the point of crystal field splitting of octahedral complex. So in this, d orbital possess EG orbital and T2G orbitals. EG means doubly degenerate, and there are 2 types, dz square and dx square minus y square. In case of dz square, their lobes are lies on the z axis, so it is called as dz square, and dx square minus y square, their lobes are lies on x and y axis. So overall EG orbitals, their lobes are lies on the axis. And in case of T2G, there are 3 T2G orbitals, dxy, dxz and dzy. And in case of T2G, that is the first one, dxy, their lobes are lies in between x and y axis. In dxz, their lobes are lies in between x and z axis. And in case of dzy, their lobes are lies in between z and y axis. So overall T2G orbital, their lobes are lies in between the axis. So this is the main difference between T2G and EG orbitals. So overall, the 5 d orbitals in metal are dxy, dyz, dzx dx square minus y square and mean dz square. All the 5 orbitals are not identical, but they fall into two categories, that is T2g and EG, where T stands for threefold degeneracy, that is dxy, dyz, dzx. E stands for twofold degeneracy of dx square minus y square and dz square, and G is a German terminology which is called as GRED or E1. The two sets are, that is first one, the set of three orbitals which point in between x and y and z and x axis, and which are equivalent to each other, are called T2g orbitals and are designated as dxy, dyz and dzx. That is, T2g means triply degenerate set. And next set is the set of two orbitals which lie on the x and y axis and on the z axis, which are equivalent to each other, that is, are having same energy, are called EG orbitals and are designated as dx square minus y square and dz square. Then next point is a crystal field theory. This theory assumes the bonding between metal ion and the ligands to be purely ionic or electrostatic type, that is CFT possesses bonding purely ionic or electrostatic type. Then we will see assumptions. In exam they will ask write a note on assumptions of crystal field theory. Then first assumption is, that is metal ion at the center, as in this diagram, that is metal N plus is present at the central point. Then second assumption is ligands are treated as point charges. Ligands are coming towards the metal and act as a point charges. Then third assumption is bonding occur through metal and ligand is electrostatic attraction. And fourth one, bonding is purely ionic type. Fifth one, metal and ligand electrons repel each other. During the interaction there is a repulsion of metal and ligand orbital takes place. Then next assumption is, it does not explain Nepel-auxetic effect. Then what is Nepel-auxetic effect, which will be explained in following diagram. First, it is the d orbitals of free metal ion. In case of free metal ion, electrons are near to each other and there is a repulsion of d orbitals takes place. So in this is first diagram. But when ligands approach towards the lobes, or when there is a ligand metal interaction takes place, then d orbital expansion will be possible, and due to this d orbital expansion the lobes of d orbitals are expanded as shown in this diagram, and due to this there is a strong bonding between ligand and metal takes place, and d orbitals goes into the ligand orbitals, and electrons of metal are which will be free and goes into the ligand orbital, and there is a sharing takes place and which will form covalent bond. But our assumption that crystal field theory shows only ionic type of bonding, so Nepel-auxetic effect which will be not explained by this theory. So this is the limitation of this theory, and all these are our assumptions of this theory. Then in case of crystal field theory, the repulsion between ligand lone pairs and the d orbitals on the metal results in a splitting of the energy of the d orbital. When ligands approaches toward the metal orbital, then there is a strong interaction takes place, and due to this the degeneracy of d orbitals will be splitted. Then overall we will highlight the assumptions of CFT, that is, the central metal cation is surrounded by ligand which contain one or more lone pair of electrons, which we have seen in last slide. Also the ionic ligand, that is chlorine, iodine are regarded as point charges, and neutral molecules, that is water and ammonia ligands, are act as a point dipoles. Then next, the electrons of ligand does not enter metal orbital, which was that is which we have seen in last previous slide. Thus there is a no orbital overlap takes place. And last one, the bonding between metal and ligand is purely electrostatic type. So all these are the assumptions of the CFT. So thank you all of you for listening this video. In next video we will see crystal field splitting of octahedral complexes.